Hey everybody, welcome back to Podcast and Such, where we are watching Mob Psycho 100, 2 episodes at a time. I'm Jay.
And I'm Luke.
Today we are watching One Danger After Another, Degeneration, and Inside Evil Spirit. So, we're...
Evil Spirit.
Yeah, so we're in the horror season of Mob Psycho.
Yeah, these episodes were a lot more intense.
Yeah.
And to me, getting to the stuff that, like, the sort of action sort of things that I want to see.
Yes, yeah.
From Mob Psycho. Because, like, I guess thus far, the anime aspect, of course, like we said last week, I really like the kind of slice of life stuff. I like the relationships between characters, but as far as like what's the weird anime thing that's going to be going on in the show, like, the monster of the week stuff has been okay, but like,
Yeah.
this to me is developing further into like, Mob's got stuff he's got to deal with, and he's not like he's not One Punch Manning it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
As much.
he can't One Punch Man his problems right now, because they're internal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's having internal issues with what's going on with him. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting to me is so we've had this big string of episodes that are a little more Mob and Reagan going on cases for spirits and such.
Right.
So Bones has actually split a lot of this up.
Oh, okay.
And moved it around. So here's how it's sequenced in the manga. So we had the whole Mob and Emmy stuff from last week.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the urban legends.
Okay.
And then the plot about the all-girls school. Then the Wriggle Wriggle. And then the curse, the stalker, and the family.
Oh, okay. Huh. So the all-girls school from
Was
like
from this.
season 1?
Yeah. Yep. Second episode of season 1. So in the emphasis in the manga was that Mob did that mission alone.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that was the big emphasis in the manga, but of course it being like the second thing Mob does in the anime, that is no longer like the emphasis.
Yeah. Okay. Huh.
Yep. They move some things around just to, I don't know, spice it up, break it up,
Yeah, they straight up took apart and put it in season 1.
Yeah, I mean it worked.
Yeah. Okay.
It worked.
Whatever works, man.
Yeah.
That is interesting, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the order's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Admittedly, we have started off the season a little, Mob and Reagan just doing stuff.
Well, yeah, exactly. So that string of chapters here is just Mob and Reagan doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When you hit this section of the manga.
Mob and Reagan doing stuff.
Yeah, basically. Which is a little bit more what I expected the show to be like.
Yeah.
When I first started, I was like, oh, cool. So it's going to be like these first 2 episodes here, and then the like terror stuff happened, and I was like, oh, okay, so we're not doing that? Okay, sure.
I guess not, yeah.
Yeah.
Instead, Mob's having a existential crisis.
Yay! It's good times, man. Yeah. So we have the first story with the guy asking to put a curse on a guy he knows.
Mm-hmm.
And Reagan refuses, which is but more a good guy Reagan, I guess, because like he could potentially pretend to do literally anything.
Right.
but he's like, no, we don't do curses here.
Yeah. Well, and Mob points out later, you know, when he actually does fake a curse for the guy,
Hmm.
he kind of points out that could still be damaging to some degree.
Yeah, well, because if anything bad were to happen to the guy that they supposedly cursed,
Mm-hmm.
they would be like, "Oh my gosh, I did that,"
Mm-hmm.
or I, went and purchased a service that did that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, we have Reagan asking Mob if he would put a curse on anybody, and Mob takes a good while to answer him.
Yeah, Reagan was very uh insecure, was very worried, I guess, about Mob.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's like, because Mob doesn't express himself or tell him many things.
Right.
So he's just like, what's going on in that noggin? What's going on in there?
Sure.
What
Mob,
hatred could
Mob,
Mob harbor?
what do you want?
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
Uh,
Reagan's also sort of baffled by Mob, a little less than other people, but
yeah.
yeah, he's probably like, what's going on in there?
I finally had the
Subtitles.
lyrics, the subtitles
Yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
screen for these episodes, so that was nice.
yeah,
Got to understand what the new theme song's about.
yeah. It's about crying your life and crying your sight.
Apparently, yeah, digging up your anger for
Yeah,
some
yeah.
reason.
Staying frustrated, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good times.
Yeah, it's a fun one. It's a
Yeah,
really fun one. Yeah.
yeah.
And oh yeah, so next up they get a call about a stalker.
Mhm. Yes,
That
that one was
was oof.
weird.
Yeah, very weird.
That was a lot of creepy animation and that dude just looked weird, man.
Yeah, they really animated him in a really off-putting way.
Yeah, yeah.
Really really smooth and almost goopy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he did the whole like he's just like even the way he spoke was just like quiet and
Mumbly and yeah.
mumbly. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, well, it's funny, he like went and basically attacked Reagan, and then
Mhm.
Reagan, pushes him to the ground and grabs his arm, and then he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Violence is wrong. I will call the police."
Yes, when he does it. Yeah,
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 when Reagan does it, it's wrong.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, and I love that Reagan ringing that doorbell
Yeah, yeah, that
as
was good.
quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So that guy got arrested, and the mob has kind of a moment of, so she was scared of him when she thought he was a spirit, but now she's more disgusted with him now that she knows he's a human being.
Right, but he is a human being that seems to be able to exit his body.
Yeah, astral project, but he's still a person.
Yeah.
And I guess Mob's just wondering what exactly the difference is. I guess because it's the whole he interacts with spirits every day, so
Yeah.
therefore he kind of sees them as slightly the same thing or whatever.
As humans, as people.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
as
yeah.
sentient beings.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's his whole deal this episode. Just thinking about that.
Sure is thinking about that.
Yeah. Uh and
And then we have the the kids that take them out to the haunted house or whatever.
yeah, they wanted to get a picture before they graduate at a haunted place.
At a
And
haunted place.
yeah,
Ooh.
is I don't know, do people do that? But sure. Let's say they do. Uh
Yeah.
And so they go and they didn't see anything, and so therefore they're like, we don't need to pay y'all for escorting us here.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though that's kind of what Reagan agreed to,
They're in
you know.
they're in the car for like 40 minutes or whatever.
Yeah,
Reagan's like, "What?
yeah.
Are we there yet?"
Ugh. Yeah, and so they just leave them without paying, and that's where we get our little eye catches of the week where Mob and Reagan hitchhike.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was funny.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the eye catches.
Yeah, this season they're far more memorable and a lot more like, adding little things to the story. You'll see that in some episodes they'll kind of do things that aid the story.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. So suffice to say they did not get to have soba that night.
Soba.
Yep.
Curses.
Ugh. And so we get Mob going to school the next day, and he gets sort of verbally mugged, I guess.
That was strange. Yeah, the guy's just yelling at him, and then all mobs, buff boyfriends,
Yeah,
and Ritsu and
and Ritsu and
everybody
Dimple.
everybody
Everybody's here,
shows up.
like, yeah, they're like, "Hey, Mob, I just wanted to let you know we would all die and kill for you." And Ritsu says, "Yeah, emphasis on the kill. You tell me when. You tell me when, brother. I will."
Yeah. Yeah, I think Ritsu's just decided to have powers at this point.
Oh yeah. Ritsu is not quite as conflicted as Mob is about his powers.
Yeah.
He's just like, you know what? I don't have Reagan's rules of not using powers on people. That's not my rule.
Yeah.
That's Mob's.
Plus Ritsu's hair is already closer to Super Saiyan, so it doesn't have to like
Yeah.
move as much to get there. You know?
Yeah. He's already a little anime protagonist in his
Yeah.
own anime. Off screen, he's doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Strangling all kinds of guys
With their ties.
with their ties. Yeah. But man, that guy, what was his name, Sugimoto? He is so persistent in trying to
Mhm.
mug Mob. Like,
Yeah.
you're thinking he would give up after he stripped all his clothes off.
Yeah.
But no, he's gonna get that lunch money or whatever.
He needs it, you know?
Yes, apparently. I don't. It's just he's so determined. It's baffling.
Yeah.
But yeah. So everybody's like, "All right, Mom, you gotta like, we'll be here for you, but also you gotta stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Use your shadow leader powers."
Shadow leader powers, yeah.
And Reese is just like, "Don't waste time on those guys. I'll get them."
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, he had a good line like, yeah, brothers to
I think it was something like, "Brother shouldn't waste his powers on
yeah, yeah,
scum
yeah.
like this or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
low lives." Or he used one of those sort of words.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I on the other hand will gladly use my powers on them.
Yeah. Hey, why not? He's a 13-year-old full of rage, so I mean, gotta put it somewhere.
Full of rage.
Yep.
Full of rage.
Yeah, but yeah. So we get that little scene, and Mob's like, I don't really know how to fight back at the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially not using his powers or whatever. I think in the manga, Musashi replies, "I don't know, use like a strong argument or something."
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and then so next up, the I think they're supposed to be college kids or whatever. They show back up. at spirits and such because they got a little ghost in their photo and they're frightened.
Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, and so Reagan's trying to be like, oh well, I can just Photoshop it, y'all. But they're like,
Yeah, yeah.
no, we don't like the fact that it exists at all.
Yeah.
Get this out of here. Uh, so they do finally decide to pay. But yeah, so they go out, uh, back out to those woods, where we find out that the ghosts that were in that photo were actually a family.
Yes. And a very scared family.
Yup. Yeah, so Bob
Man.
is highly conflicted about exorcising them.
Yeah, and just like I thought it was interesting that Dimple tried to get them to attack the kids or whatever so that Mob would feel better about exercising it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Well, also, Dimple is an evil spirit.
this is true. Yeah,
Yeah, he's got to live up to his name again, you know.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
uh, yeah, so he does try to convince them, but the father of the family is pretty adamant about not doing that.
Hmm.
Especially in front of his kid. He's like, I'm not gonna like kill people in front of my child.
Yeah, I do that stuff after he goes to bed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just polite.
As soon as he hits the pillow, I turn into John Wick. Believe me, I'll kill everybody.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Mob's very conflicted about the responsibility that he has as somebody who can exercise spirits.
Hmm.
But should what did he say? He said something about like I can't let my feelings guide me in this.
Hmm.
About what's right. Yeah, there's no way I could act on my feelings alone.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So what's interesting about Mob Psycho is that we don't really have any established like spirituality, like as far as what happens to uh ex ex-
exorcised ghosts.
exorcised ghosts. Yeah.
Mm.
So it's like
Yeah, I'd have to look into. I'm assuming it's going to be kind of Shinto or whatever. And I don't know what their views on like afterlife is.
yeah.
I'd have to look into that.
Because I've seen like anime and things, I feel like at least maybe seen anime or shows or something where it seems like or maybe it's video games. I'm thinking of some narratives where it's like purifying spirits and things like that actually helps them on to the
Like move
afterlife
on or
and stuff.
whatever. Yeah, I,
Yeah.
I I think I think. Well, yeah. Didn't Dimple say something like then in the next episode he said to Mav, if you die and aren't able to pass on, we can
Hmm.
hang out as ghost buddies. So I'm guessing there is
Yeah.
some sort of afterlife. It's just that, this family wanted to stay together and not pass
Hmm.
on to whatever ethereal plane of existence is later. And maybe, yeah,
Sure.
they are hanging on, of course,
Hmm.
but it sounds like I think the way they taught it sounded like they're like, oh, we just want to do this for like a little while and then we'll
Hmm.
pass on.
That's what they all say.
That's what but I mean,
That's
again, what
what they all say.
what's them hanging around what looked to be like a burnt down house? What's
Uh-huh.
them hanging around there gonna do? Nothing.
That's not how I make moral decisions.
Oh, okay. So you're like exorcise them all.
No, I mean, it's just like if there's like a good, if there's the goal of the human spirit is to pass on
Mm,
to the ethereal plane, and I would be more the mindset from at least the games I've played that had
okay.
this narrative. I feel like there was a narrative like this in a mobile game I played, Another Eden,
Oh,
it,
okay. Yeah.
which was a JRPG. Um, made by the guys who made Chrono Trigger.
Okay, yeah, I remember you playing that one.
It's
Yeah.
got a sick story.
Nice.
And yeah, there's characters who have character quests, and one of the characters is some sort of I don't know, shaman or whatever. They help people move on, you know.
Okay, kind of like a Ghost Whisperer.
Yeah, something like that. Their
Yeah.
goal is to help people move on. So I at least would come from the mindset that any reservation, any desire to stay in the physical plane is probably rooted in some sort of unwillingness or having a need uh to confront something that's preventing you from moving on.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But that's way off topic for
Well, I think this is an interesting conversation to have because you're right. We don't really have that much of an established afterlife, or if the
Right.
exercising of ghosts is the right thing to do always. Of course,
Exactly.
it's good to
Yeah.
get rid of evil spirits that are like hurting a bunch of people or whatever. But like in this case,
Yeah.
are they? I think the narrative is telling us that this was the right thing to do.
Yeah,
To
mob.
leave them alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely how the show is acting.
Yeah.
But I am slightly confused in that it's like, is mob just like eradicating people? Like, is that what is happening? Are they not moving on to some immortal plane? Are they just like, is mob perpetuating annihilationism? Is the soul not immortal?
I think if we're going by the whole, if purified salt can exorcise a spirit, I think it is supposed to make them move on to some sort of ethereal plane. I don't think he's eradicating them.
Okay. Because that's what it felt like in this episode. It felt like they gave Mob a gun and was like, kill these people.
Maybe. Yeah.
You know
You
what I
know what?
mean?
I don't. Yeah. I get you, but it's also like again. I think if this was their unfinished business,
Yeah.
let's say for whatever reason to move on. Well, it's the whole that's their unfinished business is being a family together.
Yeah.
And you can either uh shoot them with the gun or you can let them handle their unfinished business themselves.
Right.
I think it's more humane to let them handle their unfinished business themselves.
I guess, like, I mean, within the framework that we're provided, we don't really know.
Right.
Is my problem.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, ostensibly, ghosts don't have a great track record of actually handling their unfinished business. They usually just continue in an unfinished state.
Well, again, I think that this specific instance here is that these people just wanted to be a family together for however long, and
That's
they're
the question, right?
yeah. And I know it could take a while or whatever, but what's the harm in them taking a little while to hang out?
I don't know. Their souls need to, move on to the ethereal plane. For some reason, that's where souls are supposed to go.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying that what's the harm in them hanging out a little longer?
Denying their destiny.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's inevitable or whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. Like, let them hang out.
I told you that's not how I do things.
Okay, cool. So go tell that to Mob.
Yeah,
You
well,
grab him
see,
by the face. Tell him.
I'm pretty sure that as far as the show is telling us, it seems like Mob is blasting these guys.
Okay, maybe he is. Maybe Mob is killing a bunch of people all the time.
It seems like it. Especially if he's gonna have like a moral conundrum about it.
Yeah, true.
It doesn't seem like what he was doing was just making these people move on. You
Well,
know, this
I don't know if it's more the equivalent of shooting them and more like, I don't know, assisted euthanasia.
I mean, I've got problems with that too.
Yeah, I mean, well, do you or do you not want them to go onto the ethereal plane, Luke?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, then, so you want them to go onto the plane, but you're like assisted euthanasia is wrong.
Oh, I mean, it's a different circumstance, but it seems like the natural
Well,
state of what a spirit needs to do. But
okay, yeah,
uh,
I don't know.
but this is also in a in a cartoon and a religious context that I don't
Neither of
understand
us know
fully.
much about. Yeah,
Yeah, so
neither of us know anything about Shintoism. I
yeah,
need to look into it a little more because I know they get into like uh they bring up the concept of yokai later, which are a very Shinto
they
thing.
got they got the watch, right?
Yeah, they got the watches. They
They
all
got.
wear watches, the nice Rolexes.
Oh, I just meant like the
Yeah, I know.
little yokai watch.
Yeah, I know. You know you know Whisper the ghost from Yokai Watch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's got the same voice as Dimple in English.
Oh, really?
Same guy. He's
That seems
getting
weird.
typecast.
That seems weird.
He's getting typecast.
Huh.
Yeah.
But yeah. Um
So yeah, yeah,
all I'm
Mob.
saying is the uh the context of the situation felt more like Mob was being asked to take a family out back and shoot them.
Yeah, and so he didn't.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
But that brings me to my questions about whether or not these spirits are just straight up being annihilated.
Okay, yeah. I see where you're coming from.
That seemed like especially because and maybe this is purposeful because you couldn't have a scene like this, I guess, if they had set up more robust a more robust understanding of how this whole exorcism thing works.
True. Yeah, the ambiguity of it all. Like, I don't think Mob knows a lot about what exactly is happening.
Wait, so my thought was that perhaps the show or the manga is intentionally not expounding on that in order to have moments like this.
Hmm.
But your idea is like even Mob doesn't know what he's doing.
I don't think he does. I mean,
Mob,
it's not like he has a
it's
master
just
who actually knows about this that could tell him these things, because
Mob,
Reagan also doesn't know.
Mob is just scrubbing spirits off the face of the earth, and he has no idea what happens after.
I mean, why would he know unless Bob has like a more robust understanding of Shintoism than I thought he would?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. We don't see him going to shrines,
That's true.
you know?
He does not seem very religious.
Yeah, well, and Japan's not all that religious in general, really.
Yeah, yeah.
They do their little ringing of the bell at New Year's or whatever, but I don't think many people are what you would call like practicing Shintoists for the most part.
Ring that bell.
Yeah, for New
Ring it.
Year's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we wrap up this little mission, and Reagan is like, talking about. Oh, he has like a moment of pause where he's like, "Oh man, making Mob do all these things, and I don't quite understand what Mob's going through, but I can't tell him that."
Right. Because
So he's yeah,
Mob's having an existential crisis.
yep, and yeah, oh yeah, and so we go back to spirits and such, and uh, it looks like Reagan's been cursed.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, probably by that first guy.
Oh, you think that the first guy wanted him cursed?
Yeah, I think that first guy had asked for that curse, and then he probably was like, you know what? Probably was fake. I'm gonna go get somebody who can really curse him.
Okay.
Yeah,
So he
I
went
think
and
it was
got
supposed
it.
to be the first guy.
Interesting. Because, like, the first guy still. Do you think the guy paid for two curses? Like, he found a real cursor and was just like, hey, while
Well,
I'm
he
here.
didn't. He didn't pay for Reagan's curse. The
Yeah.
curse that Reagan gave
No,
to.
no. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, if Reagan gave him a fake curse,
Oh, okay. He went out and paid for two curses later.
yeah, one for the guy
Yeah,
he initially wanted to curse, and
yeah,
then one for Reagan.
yeah. I mean, he did say, if I find out that this is fake, I'm gonna find somebody who can put a curse on you.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did
So
not remember that line of dialogue, but
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
that explains it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He said that verbally, and so or at least we assume that that is what happened.
Yeah.
And Dimple tells him, yeah, you might slip on a banana peel.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so he gets Dimple to eat it because he can't mask Mob to do it.
Sure.
Yeah. Yup. So that's fun. And then oh yeah, we get that last little scene about Mob realizing all the responsibilities he has as somebody who can exercise spirits and
Hmm.
whatnot, and having this moral dilemma about it. And because he saw, he's reminded, oh yeah, you could put curses on somebody with psychic powers, and you could astrally project and stalk somebody, and you can
Yeah.
just eradicate any ghost you want to. If he decided to do something wrong,
Hmm.
would there be anyone there to stop him?
Yeah.
I
That
love
was
that
an
line.
interesting one because, like, thus far, the only thing preventing Mob from, you know, succeeding in any situation is mostly himself, you know. If, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he could, we're sort of to understand that his psychic powers are pretty much unparalleled.
Yeah, he does seem to be exceptional, and I don't think we've met anybody who is a lot stronger than him,
Yeah.
if not at all
Until
stronger than him. Until next episode.
until next episode. That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
We're finally getting to some of the Dragon Ball Z stuff, you know.
What about this, this Dragon Ball Z?
Well, that's just the whole conceit of Dragon Ball Z is that, you know, Goku's super strong, then he comes
Oh,
up
okay.
against somebody who's slightly stronger, and then
And then he
Goku
has to level up and
does a
get
bunch of
better.
like squats or something and comes back
Yeah.
and goes like, "It's on."
Okay, yeah, no, okay, I understand what you mean now. Yes. So how many squats do you think Mob needs to do before he can beat up Mokami?
I have no idea, man.
Yeah, it's gonna take a lot. Gonna take a
Yeah.
lot of squats.
Yeah, no, I don't anticipate that that's how it's gonna go. It's probably
Yeah, no, I
gonna
know. Yeah, probably not like that though.
probably more of like the explosion maybe because that's
Mhm.
coming up,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I think, yeah,
Mob has to find it within himself or something like that, you know.
yeah, yeah,
Is that the equivalent of squats in Mob
Y-
Psycho 100 is
yeah. It's
it's emotional
so,
regulation of some sort?
self-actualization of squats.
Self-actualization, yeah.
Yeah. So we open up this episode with a little flashback cold opening of
Mhm.
Dimple back in the day,
Back in the day, dim
presumably more than 40 years ago.
dimpling around.
Yep, dimpling around. He's been a ghost for a really long time.
Yeah.
He's absolutely not moving on.
Well, if he's an evil spirit, does that imply that at some point he was a human, or do evil spirits exist from some other realm?
I think that there's both spirits and ghosts.
Yeah.
And I think that I know that Dimple called himself a ghost when he introduced himself to Ritsu, and I'm trying to remember if he ever said something like "back when I was alive," but I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't think I can't recall him saying anything like that. So I was
I'll have to.
I was under the impression he's more like a not actually a demon, but like in this worldview, more like that, like some sort of evil entity that
Mm.
sort of comes forth from whatever underlying evil exists in the world.
I mean, that's kind of I'm trying to remember if yokai aren't quite ghosts, are they? As like a whole thing.
Not sure. I only played the Final Fantasy 14 Yokai
Yeah,
Watch event.
yeah.
Uh,
Me
I
too.
I met many yokai, um, but I have no clue what that show or manga or anything is about.
Well, yokai are a thing outside of the show and manga that it's about.
I know even less about that.
Cool. Well, there's this whole video, what's this guy's name? JJ McCullen, about how the Pac-Man ghosts aren't ghosts. They're
What?
they're more based on yokai.
In this is a YouTube video,
Yes.
a YouTube video essay,
Yes.
and it's 5 hours long. I'm presuming.
No, it's like 10 minutes or 15 or something.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, it's a shorter one. I don't only watch 5-hour videos, okay? It's
I just
occasional.
I just would not be surprised if someone had a 5 hour video on how Pac-Man ghosts are based on yokai.
Yeah, no, there's not quite enough content to do that.
There's never enough content.
Okay. True. Well, all right. So, Mob and Reagan have been hired by a very rich guy, a CEO, to go exorcise the spirit that is possessing his daughter.
Yeah, but he did like he did a oh man, is there another? I can't think of a parallel to this situation, but he basically brought in every freaking psychic that there is, and
Yes, he did seem to just call anybody.
yeah,
I guess he's like, all right, I've gone down the list. I've already looked at therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, doctors. I've ruled it all out.
right,
Now I'm just gonna grab every psychic I can find.
yeah, but it's just like I guess the issue there is it seems like if you're hiring someone to come do a thing, the I guess there is a stipulation that if the job gets done, you'll pay them.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like to bring a bunch of people, it's just like, well, now there's less chance that I can do this thing, and I already drove all the way out here. It's like,
He paid for cab fare for everybody.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
so
even though they took a train,
so he's pocketing the cab fare. That's what he's doing.
brilliant,
Yeah,
brilliant.
he's pocketing that money.
That was funny.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I did,
Yeah,
I did,
that's Reagan. Yeah.
I did not get that joke, but that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, that's what Reagan did.
I love,
Um,
I love Reagan.
he's great. He gets to do some super sleuthing this episode. It's great. He's very heroic this couple episodes. Um,
Yeah. Reagan was very cool.
yeah. He got to tackle the stalker last episode.
Hmm.
Uh, no one can beat me in rock paper scissors, my boy.
He seems to have some sort of like luck.
He does. He does. I'm trying to remember if like I forget if it's the name Reagan or if it's the name Arataka that can mean like blessed or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
truly blessed.
One of those. I'll look up that one thread again in a bit maybe. But yeah, so he gets in there and oh yeah, everybody's there. We meet Jodo from the Psychic Union. He's the what was his title?
Old
President or
man,
whatever.
old
Yeah,
guy.
old man. That was his title. Absolutely.
Yep.
Jodo is the Rising Sun Spiritual Union president.
Yeah.
And Shinra's there. Matsuo, the ghost guy from Claw Seventh Division's there.
Mm-hmm.
And then presumably a bunch of frauds, and presumably maybe a few actual psychics.
Right, right. Yeah, I guess it's interesting how the question of how prevalent fraudsters in the psychic space are. You know,
Yeah, it's hard to tell because I
is
don't think we
is
saw any
everyone
like
else?
auras.
Yeah, is everyone else legit? And Reagan's, the
The
fraudster,
only
or
fraud.
is there a lot of fraudsters, and then like the exception is someone who's legit?
Yeah, I don't know because I'm going based off of like seeing you know that like auras that
Mhm.
like Mob and Teru have.
Yeah, but
His is all
like
yellow.
maybe that's only for um like super crazy psychic powers, you know?
Yeah, I mean, but Shinra has something like he got all glowy whenever he uses
He
Spirit
did.
Hold, and he's not exceptionally strong. It seems.
That's true. He did just have kind of a faint aura.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So
yeah, yeah.
anytime anybody has an aura, I'm like, okay, they're a psychic.
So you're thinking that like maybe for instance
Yeah,
Bikini Macho Man
yeah,
is not a psychic. He's just bouncing his pecs up and down for people and
yeah.
telling them that does something significant.
Yeah, or these might all be megalomaniacs who absolutely believe in what they're doing, whether it's real or not.
Sure. But like the question is it real?
True. Yeah. So it's hard. It is really hard to tell who in there was supposed to be a fraud or not. I feel
Mhm.
like Jodo and his little crew seem to all be legitimate.
Sure.
Um,
The spiritual union of the rising sun or whatever.
yeah, yeah. They seem to all be legitimate, even if they're not like as powerful as Mob.
Mhm. Interesting.
Yeah, so yeah, it is really hard to tell. It's hard to tell who is and who is not supposed to be the fraudster.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so we get so Reagan wins in his little rock paper scissors competition because he
Mhm.
had already stepped up and said, "Yep, it's gonna be me. I'm gonna do it." Uh,
Yeah.
so I'll knock this out in an afternoon. Y'all go home.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then we get the whole him psyching everybody out with "I'm gonna throw scissors,"
Yeah, yeah, that was funny. I,
and
f-
then
I, f-
Shinra being like, "Why did I say I know this guy?"
I found it interesting that Mob and Reagan didn't operate as a unit, within the
Oh
rock
yeah,
paper
yeah,
scissors game.
yeah.
And
You think he would have let him be on his team or whatever?
yeah, Mob ended up like 37th place or something.
Yeah, which I mean, half out of 60. That's not
Yeah,
too bad. Not too
yeah,
bad. but
yeah,
but yeah, you're right. I don't know why they were allowed to like operate as like a duo.
yeah.
Um, I don't know.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that was interesting though. That like Mob and the rest of them could not see an aura around this girl. You know, they
Yeah,
could not detect the
an
spirit.
evil spirit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that might have something to do with like what Dimple was saying. It's more like a fusion that's almost happening here.
they did the fusion dance. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, came in there, did a fusion dance with her. Absolutely.
Sorry, I
Yeah, I think
played just I I I played the Dragon Ball Z event in
Fortnite.
in Fortnite.
Yeah,
So I've got DBZ on the brain.
I can tell.
I
um,
I unlocked the Shinra glider.
nice.
Yeah.
Glad you're having fun with that, man. But yeah, I'm guessing either Mogami is like able to hide his aura or his power level, as they would say in DBZ, or it's something to do or or it's something to do with the fact that he's like almost melded with her or something.
Yeah,
But for whatever reason,
he can
they can't.
hide his power level.
Yeah.
That's always such a that's a conceit that was invented purely so that like they could get around Goku just sensing when someone's more powerful than him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just completely. They were just like, "Hey, so earlier we came up with this thing where they can tell how powerful each other are.
Uh-huh.
That was pretty cool for that one moment that we wrote it for, but then we realized that that was kind of stupid for a lot of other moments that we needed to have work. So what do we
Mhm.
do? Um, what if people can like conceal their power level?
Yeah. That's all you gotta do. Yeah. Oh
Oh,
boy.
oh, anime writing.
Yeah. But yeah, so for whatever reason, he's able to hide it. And so
Right, right.
Reagan goes in there and he does a little psychic detective work here of talking to presumably Minori, but it's
Mm.
actually Mogami. Um, and he picked up on how she interchangeably used daddy and papa. And he said
Me,
he didn't feel
papa.
that he didn't feel like he was talking to a teenager. And also that she knew he was a psychic before he even said he was. Because, I mean, Reagan just looks like a businessman.
Right.
Yeah. So nothing about his appearance or aura would indicate that he's a psychic.
Interesting.
So she called him Mr. Psychic. He's not.
Hmm.
And he didn't tell her that.
Mr.
So
Psychic.
yeah, so he walks out of there and they're all like, oh no, if we trust this CEO man, I think he's lying about his daughter being possessed. He's just mad at her or something. And so he brought in like 60 people to come witness his abuse of his daughter. Seems like a real
That was fun.
yeah, I mean, like, it'd be insane to do that, though, right? Like, to bring in 60 people if you're abusing your daughter.
Yeah, yeah, that would like if you were faking it.
Yeah, you want
I
to bring in 60 people to look at her.
yeah, I would suppose in order to maybe like do due diligence, you know, you
You
could
bring in, like, one person.
you could bring in a couple of different psychics maybe, just to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
multiple opinions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that was weird because when they were accusing him of that, like they were all turning into um
Teddy
bears in
bears.
his mind, teddy bears in his
Yeah.
mind. So I didn't know if like they were trying to say he was psychotic, that he had just like lost his mind.
I think
And
that was supposed to be some like end of childhood thing of like how she's like a teen now and no longer his young daughter or whatever, and maybe he was feeling gaslit in that moment. Oh, maybe she isn't possessed, maybe she really is just being a rebellious teenager and I'm just losing my little girl.
yeah, yeah.
I think that's what that
Interesting.
was supposed to be.
Interesting. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so as Reagan walks out and starts talking about how, oh yeah, that's totally a spirit in there.
Hmm.
Um, as he is saying, I think the spirit can hear us through this, mirror.
Hmm.
The mirror shatters, scrapes Reagan across the face a little bit.
And then like absolutely obliterates some other guy's face.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Reagan really is just lucky.
Yeah, that was so funny. Because
Yeah.
for a second, like there was a split second where I thought it was Reagan on the ground,
Mm.
covered in glass.
Yeah.
But but he just got one scrape on the cheek.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Amazing.
It really is. But yeah, so the jig is up. Everybody knows it's a spirit now. But they're all real bad at exorcising it.
Mhm.
We get a little montage of all these guys trying to exorcise it with their own little methods, which include the guy in the bikini, as well as a guy drinking water. I don't know if that's like a Japanese thing. Like watch me drink it, and then a
Yeah.
guy in like a dog outfit barking at her.
Yeah, those could be the frauds.
Yeah, I think the dog guy is definitely a fraud. If I had to clock one of them as a fraud, it's
I'm
him.
sorry, dog guy over drinking water guy?
That might be a cultural thing that I don't know about. Okay, so I'll give that to him.
I wonder if that's how he explains it to like clients and stuff. He comes and he
It's cultural thing. It's a
actually
northern thing.
it's like don't worry about it. It's a cultural
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
This
What
works,
culture?
believe me.
Don't ask what culture it is.
Yeah,
Don't ask. But
that's insensitive.
yeah, yeah. I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah.
Um. Oh yeah. So when we find out from Dimple that this guy is Mogami. He had encountered him back in
Hmm.
the day. 40 years ago, Mogami was the 20th century's greatest psychic,
Right,
much
right.
like Reagan.
And Reagan like modeled some of his business and stuff off of him.
Yep. Since this guy was like a TV psychic, so I imagine there's an element of showmanship. Um,
Yeah.
but
I
behind the scene,
I would love to see like Reagan like as a kid watching psychics on TV and going like
there's something to them, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
It's
cool.
interesting to think about Reagan with any sense of wonder about anything
Oh yeah. Yeah,
because
that's
he
fair.
kind of doesn't. Well, I mean, but he's also a grown man right now. Like, maybe Kid Reagan had some childhood wonder, but
Hmm.
I don't think Reagan right now does.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, but we find out that Mogami his mother was sick, and that to pay for all her hospital bills and all that jazz, he assassinated people with his psychic powers.
Yes. Good times.
And Bob's just like, "Oh no, another thing I could potentially do as a bad thing."
Yeah, yeah. This was like I feel like correct me if I'm wrong, but up to this point we haven't seen like a ton of blood or anything.
I think we've gotten some of that surface level anime blood with like that fight with Koyama, but I think
Okay.
you're correct in we haven't seen because we got like some blood from the nose this episode as well as Mr. Asagiri getting stabbed by
That's the
Mogami.
one. That's the one I was thinking about.
Yeah. So,
I was thinking about the nosebleed as significantly more
well,
blood than we'd seen before.
I, I'm sorry. I was going chronologically or so. I don't know. Not even chronologically, actually. That was later. But
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. So yes, we did see somebody get stabbed today. So
yeah.
that's fun. Um.
It's blood. Their entrails. We didn't see
Yeah.
entrails, but yeah,
No intros. Just a lot of
there's
blood. Yes.
blood.
This is probably the darkest and most violent episode we've had so far.
I I'm ashamed to say that as soon as he got stabbed, I was like, oh, Reagan's not going to get paid. Mob's not going to get his bonus.
Yeah, his bonus. Yeah. He's so excited about that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're so concerned with Reagan's well-being.
Yeah, you know?
He's gotta put bread on the table.
Maybe I was thinking like maybe my brain was just operating like plot wise.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, oh okay, yeah, they killed the dad so that Reagan doesn't get the mega payout.
Oh, okay, yeah, so
Yeah.
so that Reagan can't have too much upward mobility.
To maintain the status quo, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh
I
my
think
gosh.
I think in plot too often, maybe, you know?
Maybe, but that I don't know why I'm listening over this.
It is very funny.
It is very funny. Oh gosh. Whew. Ah, yeah, so yeah, you're right. This is a very violent moment. Yeah, of yeah, more strangulation. The always got to go for strangulation in the show,
Mhm.
where Reagan's getting choked out and he's still like making quips.
Yeah, yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
And then Mob Mob was, like, trying to stop him, but then, like
Oh, yeah, I think oh yeah, Mob tried to stop him and then he was like, you can't move past your full range of motion, but when it's a doll, you can.
oh, okay, so basically, like, was that I was confused by that part a little bit. Was that him basically just threatening to break the girl in half, essentially?
I think he was saying that, you can try all you want to like fight me or whatever, but I
Mhm.
can still damage this girl as much as I want to.
Exactly, okay.
Yeah. And so he was just kind of
Yeah.
kind of showing off that he does not care for this vessel
Gotcha, yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
he's in and that he can and will move past the full range of motion.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah, I think that's what that was to show off, and yeah, some of the most gruesome animation and sound design we've had so far. Ugh,
Mhm.
ugh,
Yeah, yeah, that
ugh.
was,
I don't like your fingernails are all torn up too. That ugh, ugh,
gross.
yuck.
Yeah. Icky.
Yeah, yeah. Woo. But yeah, so they're kind of starting to run out of options here.
Mhm.
Um, where they're Yeah, so they're running out of options, and Mob has an idea. He remembers the stalker and goes, I could try and astral project and get him out from the inside.
Mhm.
Yeah. So so that's what he decides to do.
Right.
Uh and he's able to do that,
Mhm.
as we can tell. And oh yeah, I wanted to show you something here.
Okay.
So I was talking about with like how heroic Reagan got to be this episode.
Mhm.
So if you'll remember this moment here, where he's got unconscious Mob,
Mhm.
whose spirit has left him, and he's able to kick Mogami here.
Yeah.
Here's what it looked like in the manga. Let's
Okay.
see. So in the manga, drops him. So people are always talking about how Bones likes Reagan more than one likes Reagan.
Okay. Yeah.
So they let him be a little more heroic here.
Yeah. It's it's just so weird because like the manga is just like so much less I don't know. I guess the anime just looks better.
The
in my
anime has much
opinion.
more pretty and polished to it, and I think like some of the poses are a little better.
Yeah.
It's a very lovingly made adaptation.
Yeah. It's just that like
But there's a charm to the manga to me.
I understand that sometimes it's charming when things don't look good. But like, you know.
Yeah, well, I still like it.
It's a little frumpy dump.
All right.
Mm.
But yeah,
Little
so
frumpy.
a little bit. Yeah, so on the outside here, uh, Reagan kicks Mogami here, and
Mhm.
yeah, but then he gets his ankle grabbed and he gets thrown, but he's able to keep himself from passing out by locking his hands behind his head. That's what
No.
you do when you're getting thrown to the floor or whatever. So I guess he wasn't lying about his green belt and whatever Kimbo. I can't remember what it was called.
Nice, yeah.
Because that's what they teach you in like martial arts and stuff, is how to do that on instinct.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
to make sure like you don't like pass out on impact or whatever. Just to protect your
So,
head.
did you learn that in your like 2 months of karate?
No, they didn't teach me anything in my 2 months of karate. I think in better martial arts they teach us stuff like that.
Karate.
But yeah, so that's what's happening on the outside.
Mm,
Um uh I'm trying to remember the order of events here.
right.
Oh yeah, we get Dimple possessing Mop now.
Yes.
Yeah, that was significant. The possess
Yes.
dimple possessing mob.
Yes. Finally
He-
did it. He's
He's
been
even
waiting to do it.
he's even saying stuff like, I've had plans for this body.
yeah, coming off as a little creepy to you.
It sounds like he's not gonna leave.
I mean, potentially.
Seems
Potentially. Yeah.
seems like a gamble.
Hey man, Mob said he trusts him.
I think we might be better off with Reagan just carrying Mob's
Lifeless body around.
lifeless body around. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
might be better
I mean, even
for
though
the
he did
world.
pass out, he seems a little out of commission at the moment.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I guess it's not really an option, but
Yeah. So Dimple has possessed Mob, and he's flipping all around, and it's very, very agile and acrobatic whenever he possesses anybody.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think they're drawing like his eyes smaller, and
Mhm.
Mob doesn't. When Mob smiles, it's very, very small. And Dimple, he grins. So this just looks so much different. It's like an entirely different character we're looking at.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's great. Great bit of animation there.
yeah.
Yep. And then we have inside the mindscape or whatever. What do you call it? World of the mind.
Oh, okay, I thought it was going to be like the Mindosphere.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Sure.
Inside the Mindosphere.
Yeah, so inside the Mindosphere, Mogami and Mob have a little chat talking about where psychic powers come from, like emotions and all that jazz.
Yeah, that was interesting and very very on theme.
Yeah, very on theme. Yep. And
But
so,
like,
yeah,
what's the correlation? It's like, does Mob have the strongest emotions, and therefore that's why his powers are so strong?
oh, that's a good question.
'Cause that doesn't make a ton of sense if you like reverse engineer this out, and it's like psychic powers come from your emotions. Mob's got very strong psychic powers and
Mm.
suppresses his emotions greatly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at least as far as the show. sort
Well, I
of
mean, he suppresses them
indicate.
to the point that they hit 100%, and then they're very, very strong.
Right, right, but it's like
But then outside of that, yeah.
outside of the 100% moments, he's still operating with really strong psychic powers.
Well, then again, I also, because Mogami's a villain, I
Mhm.
always take what villains say with like a grain of salt.
Right, because villains can't tell the truth.
Well, I'm saying, to take it with a grain of salt and think about it,
Yeah,
just don't take it at face value.
sure, sure.
Is how I approach this, at least. But yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. That is an interesting way to think about it and reverse engineer it
yeah.
there.
I too don't
Um,
I don't listen to bad people either.
I didn't say don't listen to him. I just said take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah, yeah,
It would make sense though. I mean, this guy's traumatized and stuff, you know.
yeah, yeah.
And I just think it's very on theme for the show,
Yes,
you know,
yeah.
that your emotions are so very important or
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so Mob is like, listen, I'm here to do a job, I gotta exercise you.
Yeah.
So he does, and he's like blasts his arms and legs off. So Mogami's like coughing in a pool of his own blood there.
Yeah, is that not how you do things?
Yeah, yeah. Just a Tuesday for me, really.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so but that's just Mogami's like mind trick there or whatever. That's like
Mhm.
how strong you think you are, Mob, or something like that.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah, so there's that. Oh gosh, I remember this freaking him stepping on Mob's face. Ugh,
Oh, yeah.
ugh, that was
That was tough.
not quite as gross as the joints being cracked, but still very, very gross with his eyes almost like looking like they're gonna pop out or whatever. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. Ugh. Good thing you turned into stone at the last second. And they crumbled his face instead.
That was nice. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
Pretty
so,
good.
yeah, so Mogami poses a question, what one person living in misery and one person living in happiness, which of the two has stronger emotions, all
Mhm.
that jazz, and that he says that negative feelings are inherently stronger.
Right. That
And
might be
so,
that might be where the lie is, maybe, you know?
quite possibly.
Maybe it's like a dark side of the Force thing, you know?
I see.
Or a Kingdom Hearts thing, you know?
Yeah,
The
Kingdom Hearts thing, yeah.
I know that Kingdom Hearts is light.
Thank you, Sora. I'm
Yeah.
guessing that's who said that.
Yeah, yeah, sort of said it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, 'cause, you know, the Kingdom Hearts Ansem's all like, "Kingdom Hearts is darkness," and then Sora opens the door, he's like, "No, I know in my heart that Kingdom Hearts is light."
Yeah, okay.
So it's a
I see.
similar situation. It's like
Yeah.
Mob would, you know, figure out that love is the most powerful psychic, emotion.
Right, right.
Something corny like that, you know?
Yeah. So Mogami says that you can become stronger. You just have to change the way that you look at the world.
Right, which is
After something.
the equivalent uh, of squats.
Yes, the equivalent of squats. Yes.
Yeah,
So so he says that, if you change your point of view, the world's a totally different place, and let's see what you're like without your abilities, as we see Mob wake up at home on his little futon and walking off to school, and everything becomes widescreen.
his little futon, his little
Yeah, yeah,
futono,
yeah.
fu fubasa.
But yeah, that's the end of the episode, and we get Mob telling us what the next episode is. He does his little end narration of kind of forgetting where what was I even doing, and then he doesn't even tell us to buy any Blu-ray.
Oh no.
Yeah, how am I supposed to know what to buy now?
How could he do that?
Yeah. So our next episode is called Discord Choices.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot to cover the most important thing this episode.
What?
I was very wrong last week. Mob did not start playing League of Legends.
Oh. Well, I told you it doesn't get that tragic.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this was significantly less tragic, but
Yes.
I
Yes
guess
and no. Reagan did not have to talk Ma out of playing the League of
was
Legends.
was the degenerate title was that referring to the stalker guy or
It was degeneration, not degenerate.
oh okay.
I think I don't know if it's like Mob's mental state or
Is
whatever.
is
Him being so
degenerating?
introspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, him being so like introspective and a little bit down on himself, and being like, "What if I did bad things? Ooh, what if I got all evil?"
That's not degeneration. That's just, having a brain. It's just thinking about things.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't think it's in reference to, again. It's not degenerate. It's degeneration.
Degeneration, gotcha.
So yeah,
Is it possible that Stalker guy had started playing League of Legends?
quite possibly. I mean, we didn't see his setup in there. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
It would line up with his characteristics.
quite possibly. But yes, next episode is Discord Choices, which is interesting to me because last season we had an episode called Discord to Become One.
And we've recorded this entire podcast on Discord.
Discord. Yeah, it all comes
It all
right back
comes
around.
together.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, any where do you think this whole Mob not having powers change your view? Where do you think this is going?
Um, I think Mob's probably gonna find out he's very, very, very special and um should just love himself for who he is.
No, that would contradict last theme song of if everybody is not special.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, it's a have your cake and eat it too kind of thing.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
it's like we're not special because we're all special. That
Oh,
sort
okay.
of thing. Like you and your precious emotions are just so valuable.
Cool. Any other predictions, or is that about it?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it's going to go something like that. The minutia of it, whatever things happen to facilitate that, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I doubt it's going to come out with Mob just being like, "Yeah, cool. I'll just stay in Dream World."
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I was about to say something, but I'm like, oh no, wait, I can't.
Yeah, no spoilers. No
Yeah, no
spoilers.
spoilers. No, no, none of those.
Yeah.
I do love a good unreality. I like when
Yeah.
I still haven't seen The Matrix, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
I should one day. And then I just love anything with like a Lotus Eater plot, as they're called.
Lotus Ear.
Yeah, the Lotus Eater machine from, or
Oh,
the Lotus Eaters from was it the Odyssey or the Iliad?
one of those two. Yeah.
Yeah, basically it was this island that kind of lures you in,
Hmm.
and then you kind of want to stay there, but it's gonna eat you at some point.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so I like any of those like sort of dream worlds and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Any sort of unreality like that is really interesting to me.
That is always fun, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any other last thoughts, or I'll sign off?
No, I think I'm good.
Thank you for listening to Podcast and Such. Next week we'll be covering Season 2, Episodes 5 and 6. See you next time.
Bye.